You are exhausted from carrying a heavy, invisible weight, pretending that every single choice you make has some cosmic, world-shattering consequence. But what if the secret to your deep, lasting peace is realizing that, in the end, absolutely none of this matters? Before we unpack this heavy suitcase you have been dragging around, take a deep breath and subscribe to the Psyche Unfolding channel, so we can continue navigating these quiet, shadowy corners of the mind together. Let us talk about that profound exhaustion. You know the exact feeling I am talking about. It creeps in during the quiet moments of the night, when the noise of the day finally settles, and you are left staring at the dark ceiling. It is a hollow, sinking sensation right in the center of your chest. You spend your days running on an endless treadmill of expectations. You try to be good. You try to build a legacy. You try to make decisions that will echo perfectly into the future. You act like a tightly wound clockwork mechanism, spinning your gears so fast that your fragile springs are ready to snap, believing that if you stop ticking, the entire world will fall apart. You go to work, you smile at strangers, you meticulously plan your future, but underneath it all, there is a quiet, gnawing hum. It is a whisper asking, what is the point of all this motion if the ultimate destination is dust? Then a terrifying thought washes over you. What if you are just spinning in a void? What if every grand achievement, every terrible mistake, every tear and every triumph will eventually be swallowed by time and completely forgotten? This is the crushing grip of absolute meaninglessness. It feels like standing on the edge of a jagged cliff beside a dark, stormy sea, watching relentless waves crash against the rocks and realizing the ocean does not know your name. The water stretches out for thousands of kilometers, deep and entirely indifferent. It does not care about your struggles or your triumphs. You can shout your most beautiful dreams into the howling wind, but the wind will not carry them. It will simply blow right through you, chilling you to the bone. When you look up at the sheer scale of the endless night sky, it is incredibly easy to feel entirely insignificant. You might feel like a tiny speck of dust floating in a brief sunbeam, entirely at the mercy of chaotic drafts you cannot possibly control. This realization brings a profound, heavy sorrow. It makes the daily routine feel like a cruel, elaborate joke. Why wash the dishes? Why pay the bills? Why try to heal your deepest emotional wounds if the destination is exactly the same for every single one of us? We are born, we struggle, we construct incredibly elaborate sandcastles on the beach, and the unstoppable tide of time washes them away without a second thought. This heavy, suffocating blanket of dread is exactly what happens when you stare too long into the emptiness. You feel paralyzed. You feel completely abandoned by the universe. You are walking down a foggy forest path, searching desperately for a signpost, a grand destination, a pre-written destiny that will tell you exactly why you must endure the cold and the damp. but the fog never lifts and the signpost is never there. There is only the endless path, the encroaching dark, and the crushing realization that there is no grand script written in the stars, meant just for you. You are carrying a backpack filled with heavy stones, and every stone is a pressure you have placed upon yourself to matter, to be significant, to leave a permanent mark on a world that is inherently designed to change and erase. Every regret, every fear of failure, every anxious thought about the future is another heavy stone in that bag, pulling you down until you can barely stand. But let us pause right here, standing in the middle of this cold, foggy path. Take a slow, deep breath with me. Feel the agonizing weight of that backpack digging into your tired shoulders. Listen to the profound silence of the woods around you. What if we have completely misunderstood the nature of this silence? We are taught from a very young age that silence is a terrifying absence, that emptiness is a tragic lack of something, and that a lack of intrinsic cosmic meaning is the ultimate disaster. We interpret the quiet indifference of the universe as a cold, rejecting stare. But look closer. Look at the emptiness not as a void that wants to consume you, but as a completely blank canvas. If there is no grand cosmic purpose handed down from the sky, then there is no cosmic judgment waiting for you at the end of the road. If the universe does not care about your mistakes, then your mistakes do not leave a permanent, ugly scar on the fabric of reality. The crushing weight you feel in your chest is not actually the weight of the universe pressing down on you. It is the exact opposite. It is the weight of the story you are forcing yourself to carry. It is the exhausting narrative that you must be infinitely important, that your life must have a predetermined, monumental meaning to be valid. When you truly realize that the universe has no expectations of you whatsoever, the suffocating pressure completely evaporates. If nothing you do is going to alter the endless turning of the distant galaxies, then you cannot truly ruin anything. You are entirely free to stumble, to fall, to rest, and to breathe. The realization that nothing ultimately matters is the most terrifying threshold you will ever cross in your mind. But once you bravely step over it, you find that the room on the other side is not a dark torture chamber. It is a vast open meadow bathed in sunlight. It is absolute, unbounded freedom. This profound realization brings us to a quiet, beautiful rebellion of the soul. It is a massive shift in the mind that turns the terrifying darkness into a comforting, protective shade. If the universe refuses to give you a meaning, you are not condemned to a life of hollow sorrow. Instead, you are promoted to the highest role possible. You become the sole creator of your own universe. You become the author of your own purpose. Since there is no grand, objective meaning to anything in existence, the subjective meaning you create with your own two hands is the only meaning that actually exists. And that makes it incredibly precious, fragile, and beautiful. Imagine you are standing inside an old abandoned house. The winter wind is howling fiercely outside. The wooden walls are bare and the space is entirely empty. The dark, anxious view of the world says the house is cold and meaningless, so you should just sit in the freezing dark and wait for the end. But the new, empowered perspective says, the house is yours now. You can sweep the dusty floor. You can gather wood and build a roaring fire in the hearth. The fire will not burn forever, and eventually the house will crumble and return to the earth, but the bright warmth of the fire is undeniably real right now. It warms your freezing hands, it pushes back the terrifying shadows, and for tonight, it is entirely enough. You do not need the fire to last 1,000,000 years for it to be profoundly beautiful in this exact moment. If this gentle shift in perspective brings a sense of much-needed relief to your heavy chest, take a moment to subscribe to the Psyche unfolding, and let us continue to build these quiet, comforting fires together. When you finally accept that the canvas of life is blank, you get to pick up the brush. You get to decide exactly what colors to use. You get to decide what actually matters to you. Suddenly, the ordinary, mundane details of your daily life are no longer stepping stones to some impossible, grand destiny that you will never reach. They become the beautiful destination itself. The profound beauty of your existence is hidden right there in the smallest, fleeting moments. It is the rich, dark taste of a perfectly brewed cup of coffee on a quiet, slow morning. It is the shocking, refreshing feeling of cold water washing over your tired hands on a blisteringly hot day. It is the soft, rhythmic sound of heavy rain tapping against your bedroom window while you are wrapped safely in a warm blanket. It is the unexpected, genuine laughter you share with a close friend over something entirely silly. None of these small things will alter the course of human history, and absolutely none of them will be recorded in the grand silent archives of eternity. But they are yours. You experience them. You feel them deeply in your bones. And because you are the center of your own conscious universe, your personal joy is the most important thing happening in your reality. You can choose to be kind to a stranger, not because some invisible cosmic law demands it, but because kindness makes the shared human journey a little less lonely and a lot more bearable. You can choose to create art, to love someone deeply, to gently care for a stray animal you find on the street, or simply to give yourself permission to rest, knowing that your choices are perfectly valid, simply because you chose to make them. You are no longer a tightly wound clockwork bird, trying desperately to keep time for an ungrateful world. You are a living, breathing, sensing creature, walking through a strange, unpredictable, and fiercely beautiful landscape. You are a brief, bright spark illuminating an endless night. And a spark does not need to illuminate the entire universe to be a marvel. It just needs to shine warmly for the brief, beautiful moment it exists. So, I want you to take that heavy backpack full of cosmic expectations, loosen the tight straps, and let it slide off your tired shoulders. Hear it hit the ground with a dull, heavy thud. You do not need to carry it anymore. Step forward onto the path without it. Feel how incredibly light your steps are now. The fog is still there, and the night sky above you is still vast, silent, and entirely unknowable, but you are no longer afraid of it. You are a natural part of it. You are free to wander, to experience, and to simply be, without ever having to prove your worth to an empty sky again. Breathe in the cool, fresh air. Smile gently at the great mystery of it all, and know in your heart that right here, right now, you are exactly where you need to be.